Hi, thanks for joining me today for Let's Be Creative with LBC. My name is Tracy Sawyer and I am part of the Education and Community Engagement team. So today's project is the third in the series. Possibly there will be more to the series, but this is the last one I have planned using the mosaic approach to scrapbooking. I am a scrapbooker, card maker, and I love to make mini books, and so I use mosaic as a basis for a lot of the projects I do. So over the last few weeks, we've done two other projects. The first one was a school mosaic project. On this one, I used pieces cut from a magazine to embellish and enhance this school photo. And on this one, I used newsprint to embellish and enhance these two school photos. The other project we did was an art journaling project, and that combined the mosaic approach with a sentiment to express my feelings of this time as we shelter in place. So those were a couple of other projects that we did using the mosaic style. Today's project is a two-page layout that include photos of this time as we shelter in place. Remember that scrapbooking and working with this type of work is a way for you to celebrate or document a person, an event, or a moment. So this project is celebrating you in this moment. So the first thing you'll want to do is take pictures. You will need pictures of what's important to you and kind of unique to you during this time, like I did here. This is me in my mask. I've learned to play guitar. That's the little virus. Zoom, photos of my garden. These are things that I've been spending perhaps more time with than I ever have before because I'm at home as we shelter in place. So for you, are you baking? Maybe you would take a photo of your mixing bowl and spoon, or maybe a picture of you baking, or maybe a picture of your favorite recipe. Are you binge watching a TV program? Take a picture of that. Are you reading a lot of books? Take a picture of the stack of books or each book, whichever you want. The idea being that you want to take a picture of the things that are unique to you during this time. And then you will have the basis to make this project. So your first step is going to be to take pictures. I took pictures with my phone. I copied them from my phone into a Word document, and then I printed them onto 8.5 by 11 sheets of printer paper. I have a color printer, so that worked. I actually tried this project with black and white pictures, and that was kind of cool too, but this is what I like better, and so that's what I'm showing you today. So your first step is to take some pictures and get them printed, and the supplies you're going to need are scissors, and of course safety scissors for the littles. You will need a pen or pencil. You'll definitely need adhesive, and glue stick seems to be the one I'm using the most these days. You will need a ruler, and if you have one, a paper trimmer is really great. If you don't have a paper trimmer, you don't have to use it, but if you do have one, it definitely makes the cutting a little bit easier. All right, so let's take a look at a few pictures that I took as I made this project along the way. Hooray for you, you're back. You've got pictures, you've got paper, you've got your scissors, a pencil, some adhesive, and you're ready to go. All right, so the first step you want to do is to trim your pictures. Like I said, I printed mine onto 8.5 by 11 paper, so I needed to trim my pictures to put them on this layout. If you ordered pictures, 4 by 6 or 3 by 5 photographs, from maybe Walgreens or wherever, and had them sent to you, you can also use yours. Trim off any excess parts of the picture that you don't need, and then set those aside. You've got that. The next thing you'll need is cardstock. So I used black cardstock. I like the heft of the paper. If you don't have cardstock, you could use construction paper, but it is a little lighter weight and won't hold up like this. So I cut mine to 8.5 by 8. A common scrapbooking size is 12 by 12 or 8.5 by 11. I am enjoying working in this smaller format right now, so that's what I did. If you have a lot of pictures, you might need more space to put them, and we'll talk a little bit more about placement in a minute. So trim your cardstock so you have something to put your work on. Then you're going to want to take your trimmed pieces and lay them out. So you'll have your pieces, your two side-by-side pages, and you'll want to put your photos down on the paper and try out different arrangements. One thing you want to note here is, see how the pictures, here are 3 pictures on the side, and here's another one. I forgot about that. My laptop, my kind of common view as I'm working from home. These pictures are almost touching. Maybe that seems illogical if you aren't going to fill in with mosaic pieces, but it actually works really well to tuck them close together and anchor them together so that you have more room for the journaling pieces behind them. Then, after you are happy with the placement, and again, try out different ways that until you see something that's pleasing to your eye, and then glue them down. After that, you have a big decision to make. How do you want to do the rest of the story? You can see here I used, these are fields of green, but they are plants. They're pictures from a magazine of plants. I also tried out newsprint, and I wasn't really thrilled with it. And I could have done solid color pieces for my mosaics. I ended up choosing color, as you can see, and I pulled the colors from a magazine. So if you look in a magazine, here you go, there's some great color. The pieces, the mosaic pieces on here are pretty small. Most of them are pretty small, and there are 2 reasons for this. One is that these pieces are pretty small, and I have to admit they're a little bit painstaking to glue, which makes glue stick makes it a lot easier, but the effect is really cool. I'm pleased with how it turned out. So there are 2 reasons why I use smaller pieces there. One is that there isn't a lot of color. This is a great color to work with, but I have to work around the other things going on in that image, and so there aren't as big of pieces to pull from. The other is, in the case, let's see, here are some pretty flowers, and I used flowers in my layout. It was a garden piece in that magazine, and so if you use too large of pieces, the cuts that you put on, the mosaic pieces you put on your layout will read more as another photo and not as enhancements to the photos that you want on there. So you'll want to work in smaller pieces. Hopefully that made sense. Here's another page. If you're working in reds, that's, I don't know what it is. It's some sort of food. All of these things are food, and look at those great colors that you can use that would work as solid colors, actually. Here's some blue. I could use more pink colors or flower colors. I did use things like this in my layout, and I just made sure I had small pieces. And the other tip is to turn the pieces so that they are sideways upside down, and that way, again, they don't read as another photograph on your layout. So let me show you this again. This is fields of green. Here are some flowers that are on here, and all of them are enhancing the pictures on the page. Oh my gosh, I had it sideways. You probably noticed that before I did. Sorry about that. Oh look, my shoes. I'm doing a lot of walking right now, so there's my shoes. A couple other things I want to show you. Note these are small little pops of green here, and there's also green in a similar colorway over here. You're going to want to repeat your color options throughout the piece for continuity, visual continuity. So if you cut a picture and put pieces here, you're going to want to repeat them somewhere else on the piece, just so that the 2 sides seem like they go together, which they do. All right, what else do I want to tell you? With scrapbooking, a lot of times titles tell half the story and the photos tell the rest of the story. You can add journaling. It's an important piece. Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not. Here, I could add a title to this piece, and I was actually planning to add a title to this piece, but I decided not to. There's plenty going on. You can see the images, you can see the enhancements with the mosaic pieces that I chose. So I don't want to put a title on here. On your piece, you could plan for a title and create a block for that, or go without. I did want to add journaling that explained the reasons for these pictures, and so for that I made a pocket on the back. Let me show you the pocket. Black piece of cardstock. This is washi tape. You could also use painter's tape. You could use glue stick and make the pocket big enough so this can slide in and out. And I put my journaling on here. I wrote a few things about the timing of what is happening, and then this is a list of each of the photos. So that makes sense to me, and it's kind of a record of what's going on here. I tuck it back into the pocket, and there we go. So those are all options you have. I know this is a lot to do quickly on a video. If I can explain this better, I'd be happy to do that by email or I guess a phone call. Why not? I did also want to add, sometimes you can use a ruler to mark your mosaic pieces. Honestly, I find it easier to just put a piece on, mark it with a pencil or a pen, whichever will show up better, and then cut. The pictures that we did showed of the process will kind of give you an idea of that. It's pretty time consuming to do this, so make it easier on yourself. And trust yourself. It will look great. Honestly, this is foolproof. You cannot go wrong. It will look wonderful every time. So hopefully you have enjoyed this. Hopefully you are gonna get yourself some pictures. Honestly, no matter what, take pictures. Take 5 pictures or 6 of what you have been doing at a focused level, more so than you normally do, and take a picture of it and make a record of it. If you were to make a layout from it, 1 page or 2, I would love to see it, and I would love to see what this inspired you to do. So attach it to this page or send it to my email at tsawyer@lutherburbankcenter.org. Get going, get creative, express those latent creative skills that you've got going on in there. And tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. for more arts content with LBC. Thanks so much.